Hey everybody, this is Katie Rose Curtis, and you're listening to Unrehearsed, Episode 2. So, I thought I would start this episode with a poem. I wrote this, several months ago, maybe even last year. But, just fair warning. It's not necessarily graphic, but it's intense. I'll tell you that. So, skip over this part or go do something else while I'm reading, if that's not your thing. Anyway, this is called My Enemy. We've started dropping bombs on Syria. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and others have joined us in the effort to destroy ISIS. Civilians will die. Countless civilians have already died. We will train moderate rebels to be our ground forces. This will take a year. Israel drops bombs on Palestine. Palestine fights back. And that's not all. We have never seen the beginning of war. It's all we've ever known. Parasitic, cyclical. We watch it on TV and change the channel because we don't want to see. Countless little countries whose names we'll never know, who we'll never bother with because they're not a trade partner or a threat, fight each other, fight against themselves. And we pretend we're sophisticated. We pretend we're above it. We hold conventions and make movies and write stories. But somewhere there's a riot, somewhere there's a protest gone wrong. Somewhere a white man has killed a black boy. Somewhere a mean man yells and beats his wife. Somewhere a straight man breaks his brother's heart. And someone somewhere is alone. In every high school it's the same. There are the ones who hate each other and the ones who hate themselves. Kids are cruel, they sometimes say, and write it off. They won't read between the lines. Some kids grow up broken and perpetuate the problem, but the ones who survive learn to love or die inside. It's hard to deny that history loves irony. It's hard to deny that the nicest men, the ones who want the world at peace, the ones you want to stay alive, John Lennon, Martin Luther King Jr., Christ, are the first to die. Someone once asked Jesus, "Who is my neighbor? Who is my brother?" And Jesus told him, "Our brothers are the ones fighting far away. Our brothers are the ones we'll probably never see and never agree with. Our brothers are the ones who, like us, need love. But we fight in the name of God. We'd fight in the name of all our cousins' cats if it came down to it." The Buddhists believe that one should never harm a living thing. One should love the least of these. Forgive the people. Don't forgive the deeds. People are wrong. People are human. It's all a matter of degrees. But the rhetoric is wrong. We say we have to fight for peace. We talk about what it will take to destroy the enemy. Destroy, break down, eradicate. These are people we're talking about, and I have no enemy. So, obvious fact, but I'm going to tell you this. The world isn't fair. If the world was fair, we would all have the same income, the same house, pretty much, the same pets. We would all be the perfect American suburban family. And it would be exceptionally boring. But the thing about that is, since the world isn't fair and equal, there's people like me who can just sit here and yap and post these things on the internet and not really have to think about it. And truth is, I'm not even paying for college. My parents are 100% paying for me. I have 0 student loans. I will be graduating without any debt at all, which is awesome. So there's me, And then there's, the people in third world countries who haven't even heard of college because they can't even think about education because they're worried about getting food or caring for their sick children. And a question that I frequently ask myself about that is why? Why am I here? Why was I born in this situation? And what do I do with that? Do I have an obligation because of that? I've been reading this book called Good News About Injustice, and it's about how there's so many places in the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, where God specifically says that it is, in fact, our job to take care of the poor, the needy, the sick. And a lot of times, I think people overlook that. But the frustrating thing is that I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, I've participated in protests before. I have given to charity, I have volunteered, but I'm so all over the place. And I think something that I thought was very good advice that was given in that book was to figure out what you're good at and use that being good at thing, grammar, to basically use your talents in a way that is enjoyable, but also that will help people. And also, pick one thing, pick one cause, and just fight for that, work for that. When my brother was little, he took everything literally. So when my mom told him not to talk to strangers, he didn't talk to any strangers, including the old ladies at the pool. When they said hi to him, he wouldn't say hi back. And I think it's interesting because my brother still takes everything literally. He has no sense of fantasy or anything like that. And I just think it's funny, but on a more complicated level, I think in general, this idea of don't talk to strangers is so ingrained in our mindset that we're kind of a paranoid, isolated society in some ways. Like, have you ever noticed that on a given day you'll walk past maybe at least 20 people on the street, and you'll interact with at least 20 people at school or work on a given day. And at least from my experience, you can go a whole entire day without talking to anyone. And have you noticed that on paper, random acts of kindness sound really good, but when it comes down to it, it's incredibly awkward? before you actually do it, that is. So you'll be, someone will look like they need help with something, and you'll think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to help them? But then, just thinking about it and going up to them seems so awkward. So maybe you either feel really awkward about it, but you do it anyway, or it's so awkward that you don't do it. But then after you do it, it feels really, really good. So I guess my question is, why is it that interacting with strangers, even if it's to be nice to them, why is that so awkward? And what does that mean? Hey, this was Katie Rose Curtis on Unrehearsed. If you like what you hear, I would love to hear your input. And I don't know if I made this clear last time around my Facebook page, but you can absolutely send me ideas for topics. You can send me stories. You can send me audio clips even. So, like I said, if you like what you're hearing, send me stuff. And that's it for this week.